Hello there, I'm another Magento dev. Just waiting for someone to join there. And they have done. So hello and welcome to this live stream, number 15. Today I was gonna just carry on really having a look at the using Vue.js to leverage the true power of Magento, which doesn't seem to be Luma theme at the minute. And I would just wanted to go through how we'd maybe go about adding a cart to a cart to the header of what we've been building. How would we add a cart to this module that we've been working on? I've just done a video where we'd done a search. I can't remember if it was on this install. Might not have been. Yeah, we've got a search working. So we're trying to replicate sort of functionality of Magento, and I thought a cart would be a good thing to start, to sort of a good place to start. However, I was looking into it, and it's one of them things that you can do in. I think you either have to go full on headless with it, if you like, so full on do everything in Vue, because I struggled to get the cart to share with basically using, say for example, using the GraphQL API. I struggled to get to share that data with the rest of the Magento, like the native Magento install. I was trying to overwrite the cookie that's used for the cart and stuff like that, and it didn't quite work. So I think probably, and this is, we'll see how far we get today, but probably the best way to look at this would be, if you're gonna go headless for the cart, if you're going to sort of build into your templates like this home template for example, if you're going to build a cart into it, like a slide out cart or whatever, you either go down the route of you don't add anything from these pages. So what I mean by that is you don't build any add to cart buttons in. These are just landing pages, and then you get the native Magento cart functionality, the session basically from Magento, and you just display it in a cart on this, but you can't add from that. So what I mean by that is you'd go away to, say, a product page, and then you'd add something to the cart on the product page, but you want it to display in the header. We can do that. That's no bother. But basically adding to the cart from this area is quite problematic. In the old days, and on some CMSs now, you can actually add to cart from a URL. Magento doesn't really allow that anymore. I think it's probably a security risk or something, but I just can't seem to get it to work. In the old days, you used to be able to add a query string with a product ID, and it'd ping it into the cart and create a session and everything. It ain't working, and I'm not sure whether that's just my setup on my localhost or whatever, but it just doesn't seem to be working, so I'm abandoning that. So there's a couple of ways you can approach it. One is go full headless, which is use the GraphQL API to add things to the cart and display what comes back in a Vue component, which is a nice way of doing it. The problem is there'll be a disconnect between the cart IDs that are added here and the cart IDs that are going to be added in the rest of your store. So what you're going to have to do is go through the is sort of rebuild everything. If you're going down that route, in my opinion, you're going to have to rebuild everything, but it's not difficult to do, actually building that process in. So I think what we might concentrate on today, just to get started, because we want to build a functional cart, we want to build something that sort of pops over or slides out, or at least start on that, is I'm just going to use some data from within Magento. So I'm going to add my cart, I'm going to do my add to cart in Magento. So say we'll add this to cart, and then I'm going to get some information from the session. I'm going to pull it through and I'm going to display it in a cart section. Sorry, I keep pointing to this as if it's pointing to something. It's not. It's just basically my cart component. It's something I threw up before I started so I could start playing with it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build it with the concept of these Vue pages are just landing pages. They're there for speed, and you're not going to be able to add to cart from these, so therefore you only ever need to display the cart that you've already created elsewhere in Magento in these, if you get me. And we might touch on how to do, if we get time, if I get sort of as a segue, I might touch on how to add to cart via the GraphQL API. But yeah, as I said, we're going to have to rebuild certain components to other components of Magento, namely the add to cart function, to be able to leverage, and obviously the cart and the checkout process. So quite a lot of work, more than what I can do in a now 50 minutes left of a live stream. We might go a bit longer if we get into it and it seems worth it. But yeah, so we're going to start by scaffolding, and it's the best way to sort of start is, I always use this word, scaffolding it out. It does my head in. I wish I could think of another way of saying it, but a way of just sort of, let's get the functionality going, because that's also quite a piece of work as well. As you can see in here from my sort of, do you know what, I'm going to make myself, I made myself big so I could do an intro. I'm going to make myself nice and small, so we can see everything. Right, so we've got a component here, and this component is going to be my cart component, and I'm passing it through. I'm going to have my cart appearing from my header, so then it's going to be global. So I'm just passing it here, and I'm basically just passing the cart component from Vue from my header, and it's displaying what you can sort of see in here. So we'll just for now just put a little thing in there, so we can say a little message in there, so we can say cart here, and I'll make sure it's live reloading. It's not actually, it's live reloading, but it's not replacing. There we go. Right, I just had to do a bit of a refresh to get it to work. So we're gonna. Do you know what? It's traditionally better to have it out on the right hand side. So what do we need? What do we need here in a cart? We need a little cart icon, don't we? Over and above everything else. I wonder if I have got, because this is always handy, I wonder if I have got Font Awesome installed, because that's going to be useful for grabbing and makeshift cart icon. Can't remember if I had it installed. Let's just have a quick check. So I'll go into my module. Is it in my Vue app? In a config file? No, I'm not bringing it through, am I? Right, I'm going to try and I'm just going to nab the Magento one from another. I'm going to nab the Magento one. It'll be here somewhere. It's probably going to be in my. You know what? I'm just going to write it. I'll come back to that and I'll do Font Awesome in a bit. So anyway, let's get it working from a cart button. So the first thing we're going to add is like the button that triggers it. So I'm sort of thinking now, do we need a couple of components? One to trick. Now I'll do it all in one component. We'll do it all in one component. So we'll just call this mini cart, because that's what we're used to having it called. And we will have a nice button in here, which is going to be, we'll just have it called cart for the time being. And we'll move it over to the right hand side. Make sure we can still see this. I don't think this needs to be as wide. I just don't want it to go to mobile version. I want to have the space because it's right in the corner. Right, so we'll move this over to the right hand side, and we'll make it actually. We've got a toggle menu there, haven't we? That's on mobile. Where's that gone? No, it's to put it outside there. Anyway, we'll position it absolute. So we've got tailwind, absolute positioning, so top 0, right 0. Where's it gone? Oh, I took all the words out of it there. That's it. Now my button's still there. Where's my cart button gone? Search for mini cart. It's there. Ah, has it gone? Let's have a look. So we'll go to header. Let's get this working. Just bang it in here again, and then I'll float it to the other side. There it is. Right. Okay. Okay. So there's essentially the button, and then I'll just add some margin to it so it sort of pops off that side. Go. Right, and so we'll trigger this and we'll get it to like slide open or something like that. That'll probably be decent. So we'll add the actual cart here, and then we'll start to get product data through to it. Call it cart, and then we'll probably have, we'll do some placeholders. We'll probably have the product image. We'll probably have what comes off in a cart. I've got some sort of cues here. I've got prices, product image, name, and price. Okay. Right, you're going to be able to see this for now. If we do make it fixed. Make it fixed, we'll say top and right. I'll give it a background colour of white, we'll give it some padding. Okay, just for now give it a border so I can see it. Refreshing my CSS properly. No, it's not putting a border on. That's because there is no border one in Tailwind. There we go, it's just border. Right, okay, we'll give it a width. And for now, we'll give it a, I wonder if we can give it a max width of, let's say 300 pixels. I think it's pretty standard for something like this. When it slides out. You just have to be, yeah, in width, and then we'll give it a height of screen. Min height of screen, because then if we get enough products in it, it'll scroll. Right, it's going down the back, but it's doing it. I'll just do a Z index of 100. See if that gives it a no. We'll give it a custom Z index of, there we go. Right, so this is how it's going to work. It's going to sort of pop over like many carts that you've probably seen before. We'll also need a cancel button. We'll just put close, and then within this button we'll float that also to the top right. Go, and I'll do that for, we'll say, yeah, top right for now. Okay, so we're going to have the product data in there, and so we'll come back to the animation bit. So now I think it's the perfect time to try and get some product information. So we should be able to get product information from the Magento session, and I've already written it, but we can get it from the block. So this was me experimenting with the cart URL, and it didn't really work, but we can get cart data. So I am getting it from Object Manager now. I basically just threw this in because I wanted, I just wanted to get something working ready for this. But basically what this is going to do, I'm going to be able to get cart data. I'm not getting the image, am I? I'm going to try and get the image. Get cart data from this, and bring it through, obviously, into my Vue app. So, oh, excuse me. So it's a similar It's a similar process as what we've done in previous streams, but if you wait with us for those, what we can do is we can pass this data into our header app, or our header, which is connected to our VueJS version of the header. So we'll call this data cart, and we'll pass this as a JSON string, which is what I was doing there. So I've JSON encoded it. So I'm going to say echo. Did I copy all that? I think I copied. Yeah, JSON encode. So that's going to pass it as encoded data, which we're going to be able to unpack at the other side, and pick up eventually in our cart fairly easily, to get it to display. So I'm just going to have to add to. So that was get logo, get categories. So we'll say get cart. So I'm getting the categories and the logo exactly the same. But as I said, you could rebuild the entire thing. I was like tempted to do it this morning when I was playing with the GraphQL API, because it's really nice. It works really well, but I really couldn't figure out a way to sync it all up. But we might have a look at that again in a bit. So I'm going to say the app element is this. I know I'm repeating code here and stuff, and it's not ideal, but forgive me. And we're going to say cart, and we're going to grab it from, basically map this. So we're going to grab it from data cart. And then we're going to return, return cart. So from this, we should be able to now get our cart data and pass it in here like this. So we're going to pass it as an attribute called cart. Yeah, we don't need the part as a function. So now we're just gonna, oh, I broke something. What have I broke? Expected property. Whereabouts I broke that? Let's just double check the JSON data before we do that. Yeah, so something to that. So we'll just return it here first. Better to be safe and figure out what I've done wrong. So we'll just console log it whilst the tools are really working. Unless I could pass it up to, no. Yeah, because it's a computer. Yeah, it's computed. So if I just refresh that. Let's have a quick look at tools. If I say I want to look at my header, some part of my header, so there's the cart there and there's the header. Expected property of name. What have I done wrong there? Let's have another look. Right, yeah, I think it's getting, I'm not getting anything. I wonder if I've basically not got anything in my cart. Just one sec, I'll just try and. Let's just add something. And then give it a look. No. Let's just try and print this. Yeah, I've got loads of things in my cart. I can see it all. I'm passing it there. So I'm passing it data cart. How come I can't pick it up? I'm passing it into header app. Data cart. It don't look great. It's an array, isn't it? Yep. So it should be passing as a JSON string. Let's pass that as an array itself. Shouldn't do. Right, let's just try and do it like I'm doing my categories, which is here. Let's pass it first to that. Right, see if that'll get us out of jail. Cat data equals, and then I basically used this last time and it cleaned it all up. So let's try that. Cart data to here. Let's have a look. So I'm definitely passing cart data. Let's have a look in header. Refreshing. Come on. There we go. Right, it's working. Yeah, I just needed to clean that string that I was passing by the looks of things. Well, there we go. We're getting the cart information here. Right, there's nothing in those options. Just checking it out. Yeah, so we're getting the subtotal and all the sort of nice stuff that you might want to show in a cart. How can I get the thumbnail? That's the other thing. Let's have a look. Let's have a go. Image. It's probably just going to get the thumbnail. No, it's not getting it. Might not be on the item. I'll figure that out in a bit. Let's just build some placeholders. Okay. So back into the cart. Now I want to pass the information that I've got, or the data that I've got here, get cart to my actual cart, so then I can start using it. Okay, and then at the other end, I can pull it out. I can use it now, utilizing the attribute. So I've got that, got product image there. And I'm just gonna say for now width of say full. So I've got some padding, PG of grey 30. Say min height of say 150 px. Why am I live reload working? this one, is it? I've moved browser tabs, so it's not switched on in this one. Reload. There we go. Okay, so that's the product image. Actually, we'll make this. We'll have these almost on a row each. So we'll use a flex box. And we'll just bob this. Ooh. There, ready for later, and we'll also have like the info here, and then we'll put the info in here, so we'll start getting it from the. So let's just have a check that we're getting everything through. Cart, I called it. There we go. Right, it's filling it, but there we go. So it's in the right positions. So first thing we're going to get is we're going to get the name. So we'll get from Asher's cart, called it name. Yep. Wait a minute. Actually, the whole thing needs to be able to get anything. What's going on there? Oh, it's an array, of course it is. Didn't even notice. So the cart is actually an array of products in it, so I've got a loop around them. So within this, I'll have a loop of flex boxes. So start again. Right, come back to that. So we'll just say on this one, we'll say v4 item in cart, and also a key. We'll just loop around these in the number, so we'll get rid of that arrow for us, so each one's unique. Okay, that's going to loop around them. Right. And now I can use item name. There we go. Right, okay. So I just need a little bit of padding to separate these. So that's where the image is going to be. And then we'll have, so do you know what, we'll change that to max. We'll change, actually, we'll make this a width of, we've got like 2, oh that was height on it, we'll say so to make sure that these are thumbnails, 50px. Square. Great. Okay, and we're going to add a bit of padding to this because it's a little bit close to the image. Right, let's move it out a little bit. So we're going to have the name, we're going to then have the price. So item dot price. Okay, so it needs formatting that price, doesn't it? But we'll also make these block Okay, so I've done this before in another, in fact, well, I haven't used it in this one, but I've used a product sort of template for each time I show a product. Obviously it's not really going to work in a cart, I want them to be laid out a little bit different, but I can nab the price formatting and what have you from these. Where did I pop it? I think it's in here. Yeah, in price. I actually have got a price. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I can use that. I can use this from a price. Don't think it's got any specific CSS other than bold. Yeah, I'm going to use this. So this is sort of become a reusable block for price. So if I go into my cart and I want to display the price, I can do price. It's going to try and add it for me down there. You can see that, just making sure you can still see that. Yeah, I'll just move this over a little bit. Yeah, I want that to be price, and then I believe I pass it a number. I can't remember exactly how I did it. How did I do it? Where will I see it? I'll see it in product, then price. So, right, so this is what I pass it. I pass it the currency and the value. As for currency, I'm not actually getting it on this occasion, but what I can do is I can substitute it for, because I know what it was GBP. So I can just send that statically for now, and then the actual price, which in this case is going to be just item.price. So it gives me back obviously it hasn't done the decimal places for me, but I can sort it out. But it's at least put the right currency and what have you on there. What else was I getting from my block? The quantity I've ordered. Then obviously we could have a quantity switcher if we needed to as well. Got the subtotal which I can stick at the bottom. So let's put the quantity in now. So we'll stick the quantity in. What did I call it? QTY. So we've got one of each of these. And then the subtotal. I wonder if this is a subtotal per product. So it'll be like the product before or after tax, depending on your settings. Let's have a look at what it gives us. Yeah, it's basically the same because I don't think I've got any particular tax settings. So that's obviously started scaffolding it out for me using this raw data and the stuff from Magento. So obviously what I'd need to do is I need to expand on this. I'd probably need to go get the actual total price and all that type of stuff. But obviously I won't do that in this stream. So what I'm going to switch to, now I've got like a little bit of a boilerplate, is I'm gonna switch and talk about for the next half an hour or so the GraphQL API and how you can do it this way and get it from GraphQL, because it's really good to it's really handy to work with. It's really configurable. So the way it works essentially in a process. So obviously the process is outlined on the docs, right from sort of creating a cart to fulfilling your order. But as I say, if you're going down this route, you're gonna have to go down this route. Obviously we're working conceptually now in almost like a theme within Magento, so we have a choice on how we do this and where we invest our time and what we work on. But say for example you was doing a completely headless version of this using Vue or Nux, then you would have to use the API to be able to get your product information and place orders via Magento. So we'll talk about it for a bit. So and I'll try and implement it as well, because I started writing the queries to be able to get information. But over in Altair here, you can start to see how you can get this information and what sort of information is available back. So you can see we've got a couple of, it's really good. I mean, let's see if I can get this any bigger. Yeah. So like I just brought up there, so I'm just going to run this again. I'm not sure if this is still, yeah. So we've got like, I've only got one thing in the cart here, but you can get like global cart things as well as the items. So, and then a grand total as well. So we're going to be able to flesh out our cart quite easily. We're going to be able to, we've got like ready, the access to all the information is quite easy to get. It's quite easy to get hold of all the information you're going to need. So all you need to pass it is a valid cart ID. Now you generate this by creating an empty cart. So the way, essentially, technically the way it works. So if we just have a quick look at Magento and we have a look at the application, and just move this over. So what's actually happening in Magento by default is it creates this, the session ID, the PHP SES ID. And it's this ID that gets created as a... So when you log on to Magento, whenever you refresh Magento... where is it? I've come off it. So let's clear it. Let's clear all this. So the first time we've ever been to Magento... So basically, if I clear that, so I've deleted it and I refresh it, my cart's gone. Because it had already created me a cart ID. And you can see it in the database actually. So if we go to quote... Oh, let's just log back into this. So this is my database for this one, and if I go down to quote, there we go, quote ID mask, I believe. Yeah. So these are the quote IDs. So this is Magento's basic like scrambled quote ID, which is placed in the session cookie, which then relates to an actual quote which has got the information in it. Look, this is basically your cart. A quote is a cart in Magento. So when you're working with the GraphQL API, you're working with, essentially, imagine you're working directly with the database. You're contacting these tables pretty much directly via the GraphQL API. So you have to follow its rules, and to be able to get a cart, you get a request, you have to have a cart ID, but it isn't the cart ID as in number 75. It's obviously a little bit more cryptic than that for security reasons or what have you, and it's generated for you either via GraphQL or via the session in Magento's front end. So it's like tying those two things together. So what's the process? Well, basically, if we create a blank cart, which I've got a query in here which does it. So this query that I'm doing here creates an empty cart for me, and this is creating a guest cart, a guest empty cart, because there's another query that you can use, which is a bit further up here. Look, if you already have created a customer and you've got a customer ID, you can create a cart for that customer, and that's when in the admin you get to be able to see the customers, and you get to be able to see their carts, because it's all linked together in the database with all this information. So you've got, again, the ability to build your own guest or customer guest checkout or logged in checkout. You can build it in a Vue app, in a headless app, but we can also build it here if we wanted to sort of remove the information from the cart page, the checkout page, the account login page, and build your own versions using Vue. Like I've sort of conceptually touched on with building our own versions of the CMS pages so far. We might actually do it in another stream on another day. Try and rebuild this entire process. It's not going to be difficult to do because Magento gives you back-end access via the GraphQL API and the REST API. I just found the Graph one newer and easier to work with, to be able to basically get all this information and get it fairly securely as well. Now, don't quote me on how secure it is. It's one of them things that can never be secure enough, but the fact that you're generating your token essentially and then accessing the cart and adding things to the cart via a token, I think is pretty secure. It's like thought through. So when you generate this, I'll show you what it does. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to generate a cart ID, but as we can see here, this K88 one, this one, if I just jump back in here, it exists here, look, and it's attached to this cart, and only if that's in existence can I add something to the cart. So say for example I wanted to, this is the add a simple product to a cart query. got the wrong ID in there at the minute, but so I will just put this ID in, and it will only let me add to the cart if I'm referencing a valid one of these that exists in the database. So I'm going to add another sort of 2 of these. There we go. And now there's 16 in the cart, and before, look, there was 14. So that's added an extra 2 to the cart, right? Just through that query. So we can do this in our app just the same. So that's what we're gonna hook up now. So if we go into our cart here, actually this would be more of an add to cart rather than a cart button. But what we'll do is we'll retrieve information instead of adding information. We'll add information in here as if this is our cart button, and then we'll retrieve the information at the other end. So we want to just replace the information I was getting here with our GraphQL endpoints and pull the information from there. So in order to do that, the first thing we need to do is, I'm just going to actually leave that blank for now. I want to make this a created function because I just want it to fire every time. And I'm not going to, yeah, I'll do it in the header. Right, because I had some code knocking about here what I was testing with, so I'll use this. So this is my add to cart code, but as I say, it's more going to be displaying the information. So to display the information, we're going to get the information from one of those IDs. So that's cart data. Where was it? My GraphQL API. Create customer, create cart. So we're going to get the information from the cart. So actually, I haven't got it yet, but we'll build it now. So it's this query here. This query is the one I want. So we're going to build it into my sort of API middleware, if you like, just in here. So I'm going to say export async function, because they're always async functions, get cart. And then I'm just going to grab this query here, because it's, no, not this query, one of these queries, because they're basically the same. Just grab this one because it's short. And I'm going to paste that in the middle here. So instead of this mutation, I need this query. How was I getting that one? Yeah, I was saying const query. So it's actually the cart bit I need. It's this bit. So I should be able to, actually, I'll just grab this one, to make sure. It'll work the same way as this one. Get cart. Yeah, because that's doing the same post request. It probably would have worked with the other one. Right, anyway, let's paste this information in here to give us a start. So between these two ticks is where I need it. And this obviously I'm going to pass in dynamically, but we'll just get it working first. I always like to just get it working and rule out other errors that I might have caused myself by typing. So we've got a query here, and then we just need to take note of what the information is we get back. So we get data cart back. So from the response here, we're going to send it the query as options, like I've done before. Get the response data back, and then response data is the first thing that's going to come back, and then it was actually just cart. So this should actually get us it back, and then I'm going to return the cart data. So we'll just save that for now, and then we'll come into our header where we're going to get it, and then we're going to have in there a I'm going to say cart data. I'm going to say const cart data equals, and then await. This has to be an async created. Await, and then get cart. Where did I put this? Get cart. And then I'm going to have to include up here, because I don't think it's there. No, it's not there. I'm going to import. We're going to import the get cart function from where is it? There it is, GraphQL API. We'll just console log it and see what damage I've done. Let's give it a refresh. Hang on. Yeah, same as that. Might require no, that one pulled it. That one pulled information. Hang on, have I done it the same way? Isn't created. Why am I getting my cart data? Why am I not getting my cart data? Did I call it get cart? I'm getting get cart from GraphQL API. Should be pulling back this information. See if it's at least. See if it's running at least. Async function, spell it right, get cart. Yeah. Passing the query, asking for it there. Let's try and simplify it a bit. I might have overcomplicated it. Let's borrow this one. It was a simple function, I wasn't passing anything into it. It's just, yeah, my try catch is in there, isn't it? Right, let's try this one and try and just overwrite this one. Right, get cart. And then I was just trying to get this info. Return the data. Let's just return the data. See what happens. But it's not building properly. Just one sec. Sometimes I need to give it a kick. Yeah, it's definitely not having it, is it? Definitely calling it through. Oh, when this happens. Query get cart. So I'm getting cart. I'm calling it in my template. I'm getting it from. I'll get an error if it won't cut into that bit. Is it actually firing in here? Did I already have a created function, you idiot? Oh my god. So, what you want to do is, every time, not just sometimes, every time you want to scroll down in your file and make sure that you haven't already got a created function. Because if you add another one, guess what? It's only going to fire the last one. Right, well, at least I'm getting something this time. I'm getting an error. Unexpected name cart. Right, let's tidy this up now. So, unexpected name cart. Yeah, I think, oh yeah, because I didn't change my, so I've got cart ID data. So I should be able to get the cart ID back from this. Some errors in here. Information. I should be able to just get this query like any other query. So that's a mutation. Don't know what I've done wrong there. Don't know what I've done wrong there. Yeah, I thought that was. So that's creating the customer cart. Do you know what I'm going to do? I rarely do this. I'm just going to check the. I'm just going to check the docs. So here's the docs, which are really good. So these docs follow through, take this all the way through to placing an order. Funnily enough, I don't think it's got a actual get cart. It's not got get cart on there. It's got creating a cart, but it's not got getting a cart. Let's have a look. So we want to do, yeah, we want to query the cart, don't we? So we'll say get cart. See if we get the docs. We should get the docs. Let's update. Just want to get it. Cart query. So this is the one I've used. Sure it is. Yeah, cart. Look. Hang on. Well, it's a big one. But yeah, this is the one. Okay, let's just have a quick. Let's have a quick another go. So that was when I was getting the query. That's my products one. That's my customer query. Have I not put the braces in the right place? I think I've not put the braces in the right place. Right, okay. Sorry about that. I think it's this. So if I put my braces in this place, it's going to recognise the cart. That would have been what it was. Lovely. Right, I'm getting it. God, that took me too long, didn't it? That took me too long to figure that out. So I've got my items back. I'm getting my items back, and I'm getting all the information that I required. Prices, the total quantity, everything. So let's do something with it rather than me arsing around doing that for 20 minutes again. And not getting anywhere. So I'm getting the cart when this mounts, when the header mounts, and I'm just going to pass the cart data to my cart. So I'm going to put it in here so I can see it when it comes with the end. I think it's an array, and I'm going to pass it, and then in my function down here, I pasted that there by mistake. Made a mess of that. And where's it gone? I'll just delete it. Just delete it with my fat fingers. Yeah, I did. Oh, crying out loud. I'm having a nightmare, aren't I? Right, so we'll say this cart equals cart data. We'll pass the cart up through the data retain to here, and then at the other end, so it knows that there's something there, but it's just not got the right. So that was items. Was it? Let's just print all this. Let's just, well, now we can take advantage of Vue tools. We can see what I'm passing. Saying I'm passing. Just give it a refresh. Right, I just have to. Sometimes this happens when I'm using it in this. I want to be able to see the data, which is always a benefit of these tools. There we go. Data's in there as well. Cart data. So we'll just tidy this up actually a little bit. We can do that in here. Look, it's because when I was testing it. So we know that we're getting cart is what's coming through now from data. Then we've got data. We want to go inside cart, so we can check it actually here and work from this. So yeah, the thing that's coming back is cart data, cart. And we'll pass this. We'll see if that's any better. It's data, cart, because yeah, there we go. So we've got. Well, we're not drilling into the items, so we're getting the cart. That's the main thing there. We're getting the cart, and then I'll pass the item data in here, so that at least there's a tidy array that I'm getting through. I want the items in here, and there's only one, so that should change to 1. Yeah, and then I'll also have a totals block. So we'll have. So we've got item. What are they actually called, these things? So we've got in the items object. We've got a product. Got a name, so it's actually items product, so it'll be item product name, and then there'll also be prices, so it'll be that's the other one. So in here we've got product. I think, did I get it? So I've got product SKU. So we're missing a bit, but that's okay. It's GraphQL. We can go in and we can just test where we get this stuff from. So for each product, we can get the price data. So I think if we said we can get the thumbnail. Yeah, we need that. We can get, it's not price range, is it? Where is it? Which one have I used on? I can never remember the names of things. Which one have I used? Yeah, it's price range, and then minimum price. Yeah, is price range. So you say price range, and then it has more underneath it, and then we say minimum price. So maximum price, and then inside minimum price, actually we've got regular price, as we can see there, and we've got, then you get to the value, and on this occasion the currency. We can now get this from this, so you can see it's sort of really easy to I say it's really easy to work with. It took me 20 minutes to realise that I'd missed a curly brace, didn't it? But you know, nothing's easy in this game, is it? Really, everything's a challenge. So this is going to get me, just make sure it gets me all the information. Our thumbnail, it's not like in thumbnail. That's because I dicked about. No, I've got the wrong. So we also need URL for thumbnail. Yeah, there we go. So we're getting the thumbnail now, and I doubt it'll be the big image, but never mind. It'll work for what our purposes. We're getting all the price information. So now I'm going to carefully paste this. Should have copied the braces. Should have copied them. I was being clever going from cart. And we're also going to make this, while we're at it, dynamic. Paste that inside those braces. Save that. And then we should get more data through here for the item product. Getting a thumbnail, getting prices, Right, it's all coming through exactly how we'd expect it. Lovely. Right, and we also want to pass the cart ID back. So we'll just in these queries we can use $ and braces to pass in a variable. So we're going to pass that from the header, you know, as if we knew it. So obviously we can get it from the other call, which is the create cart call, and then we can store it in local storage like they do, or whatever. You can store it somewhere, and you could store it in your store in your VueJs store in Vue if you wanted to. But for now, we're just going to hard code it in here and pass it through that way. We should still get the information back. Yeah, we are. Yeah. So it's passing the information backward and forward. Great. And we'll just get some information showing now. Make it look more like a cart. We'll save this. Yeah, still working. Brilliant. Makes a change, doesn't it? Right, so the next thing we're going to grab is we are going to grab the totals. We'll make a little thing for total. No, we'll grab the image. We'll grab the image. So then we get that from, so we'll have a quick look. Thumbnail. So we'll go to sort of the item, product, thumbnail, URL. It's always good to make sure that there is one. So we'll say item, product, thumbnail. I haven't made that reactive, which I've just done now. What's your URL on it? Item, so the item, product, thumbnail, URL. So there we go. You just need to refresh it, but it's huge. So we'll do a width of, for now, 150. There we go. Right, so we're getting there. Right. I was getting the quantity, wasn't I? Sure I was. Maybe I wasn't. Just jump back into Vue. Items. Product. SKU. I wasn't getting the quantity, but we'll just change this to SKU for now. So we'll say we're getting the SKU. I'll bring quantity through again in a minute. And then we'll show the price as well. The price of an individual. Let's see. So I've got to pass it the things that I passed it before. So it would be item, product. It was price range. And it was, no it wasn't, it was, yeah, that's that one. Sorry, so product, our quantity is outside of the product one there, so I could use quantity, and I'm going to use quantity, put it back in. So we'll do item dot quantity. I'm passing the each object quantity, and then we've got got to pass the prices. I'm passing the price range at the minute, so it's just printing out. So maximum price. God, it's a long one, isn't it? So maximum price range. I'll just use maximum price for now, regular price. currency and value. So this one's value. And we'll copy this. Currency. Nice one. And it's showing the quantity there. Great stuff. Right, let's get some. Oh, get some totals. So then, let's tell you what. Let's just pop back in here and we'll just add something else to the cart. So I think there's another. Let's just grab another product ID. I'll tell you what. I'll just jump onto one of the other departments. I've got everything in the way, haven't I? I've just gone to women's. Just grab another product ID. Oh, it's going to be a. Look for a product. Okay, let's add that. So in the GraphQL API, all you need is a SKU. I think this one's it. Yeah, add simple product. So just a simple SKU, and then we'll add it to the same basket. There we go, and it's added it in there. If I go back to my, there we go, it's come through. So obviously, if you do that and build it into your button, which I might have a go at, not today because I've wasted enough time today, and it's just gonna act like a cart, and then you probably want somewhere down at the bottom, so that's within that there, and then you want totals. And then we'll have that down at the bottom. This is all fixed. Oh, did I do that absolute? Yeah, do it absolute. Say bottom nil, left nil. We should keep it within there. And then we'll have our totals here and our totals where. Let's move this over. Just grab this in. Right, cart. Prices, grand total. So we'll use our price component. Bang the grand total in there. We'll have, was it value? I was passing the price. So it was prices, grand total. And then we've got currency and value again. Value, and this one will be currency. And I'll best finish that off because otherwise I get an error. mistake again. Can't read grand total. Right. Just output this again. Grand total. Let's just have a look. So it comes back. Let's have a look. So I think it was cart prices. That's what I did wrong. Let's go back to this. Yeah, because that was cart, and it's attributes cart as well, because I'm using attributes rather than props on this. It's down there, right? So it's fixed. It's fixed right near the bottom. So the actual screen height min is probably overkill. So we'll just do something to rectify that for now. We'll say 600 px. Well, obviously it needs to be designed properly, doesn't it? But you can kind of see it taking shape from here. I'll just give this a prefix or something like totals. Yeah. A bit of padding. Maybe a bit of a top border. Obviously in here you'd have some sort of checkout button as well, wouldn't you? So we probably could have actually, probably have an here a div. We'll make it a flex div. And then have your totals in there, and then you'd have say just make them half and half, and then we'll make them bigger. And I'll go on about it a lot, but Tailwind's brilliant just for like getting stuff on the page and working with it. Right, and so we'll just quickly finish off, if you like, with a show and hide function for the actual cart itself. So the first thing we're going to add is, actually I wanted to add font. Oh, what add font awesome? I ain't got time now. I've ran out of steam. But we'll add font awesome next time. It's easy enough to add a font in it, but we'll just go off this. So we'll say, first of all, the fixed cart. So we're going to add a click event, and we're going to call it open cart, and then we're going to also make sure, and we're also this is the easiest way I find to do this. So we're going to have an open cart variable here set to false, because when the site loads or when the component loads we want it to be not open, and then we just use an if statement here and would say if open, so only if open cart show the cart. I think it's going to kick off, yeah, so it's closed it, it's going to kick off. Can't build this function yet, but then we've got an open cart function. We'll call it something slightly different. Open cart overlay. And then simply when that is clicked, open cart overlay. It's going to change the variable here. There's other ways you could do this actually. You could do it based off, you could write it directly into here actually. You could write that directly into here. So we could say on click. So it's probably even quicker. I think you can go when we click to open, because it's a one-way button and not a toggle, because we're going to have a close button in the, you know, in the actual overlay. You could say in here that open cart. So when it's clicked, open cart equals true. There we go. And then obviously you do still the reverse in the on the close button here. And then you're not writing loads of. So obviously it's the simplest way to do it. And then we'd say open cart equals false. That's how easy it is. That's how easy web development is. We've got a nice cart opening and closing. Obviously, you can imagine next time I'm streaming, I'll have all this tidied up and it'll look dead nice. But it's getting there. So basically, we've done quite a lot today. I think I've been at it like nearly an hour and a half. But I'd just be doing this if I wasn't recording it, and you're daft enough to watch. So I'm just working my way through this bit by bit, and it's not a foolproof thing. I don't know what the answers are straight from the beginning, but what it's doing is it's giving me a better understanding of how all this works in Magento. It's giving me a better understanding of how the quote ID mask works, how the quote works, how it links to items in your cart, how that links to the database, how it links to GraphQL, how to correctly form your GraphQL queries with your braces in the right places. It's a really good, just arsing around with this is a really good learning experience, because honestly, if all I ever did was just build production sites with Luma theme and blank theme, or just build sites with blank and Luma, I'm doing the same thing all the time. I'm never learning anything different, which is what I like about this process. I'm learning as I'm going. I'm learning right in front of your eyes sometimes. But yeah, if it is feasible to think like, you've got to make a decision. I'm going to try, and I'm going to go away and I'm going to try and build Vue buttons for everything that interact with the GraphQL API, and that I'm able to then utilize in my header to get the cart, and then hopefully culminating with the full cart, add to cart process being built in this module inside Magento to kind of replace what's there now. Not because it's better than what's currently there now, but like JFK said, we do it because, not because it's easy. We do it because it's hard. And I think that sums up today's stream quite well. So on that note, thanks for watching. Thanks for bearing with. Obviously, you've got some out of it, otherwise you wouldn't be sat there. So have a good weekend, and if you like this type of content, please give us a like on the video. Have a look at my channel, at my other videos. I've just released a Magento install video this week, which might be useful for 2.4.6. If you know any new Magento developers just coming on, send them that one, because it'll help them get started. Yeah, and as I say, I'll no doubt see you in the next one.